Hey everyone, this is Janice for Emerald Vinyl. Today I'm going to show you how we created the mirror font design, and I'm sure you've seen it all over the place on thank you bags, on t-shirts, on tote bags. You've seen it everywhere. But the only thing that makes this one different from others is this one includes a knockout design. And I'm going to jazz things up a little bit more, and I'm going to press this t-shirt using adhesive heat transfer vinyl, and I'm going to do it with foil. So in this tutorial I'm going to show you how we create this design as well as finalize everything using our heat press in our t-shirt. So I'm going to go ahead and move this design off to the side. Let's get started. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to type out the word emerald in capital letters. Let's just spell emerald right. And I'm going to change my font to Impact. Impact typically comes with most computers. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to scale this out approximately to about 9.5 so I can have a little bit of playroom inside of my design. You're going to see why in a few moments. After I scale it out, I'm going to change the color of it. I'm going to go with green, of course, emerald green, duh. I'm going to copy this two times. I'm going to use my keyboard controls, or you can always right click, go to copy, and we can do paste manually, or you can also do Control C and Control V to copy and paste. With these two additional emeralds, I'm going to put them off to the side. We'll come back for them in a few. With the one that's remaining, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do an offset. Offset. And I'm going to do the internal one. I'm not going to do the outside. I'm going to do the internal one. And usually the system defaults to a 0.125. I'm going to change that to a 0.050, and I'm going to hit apply. And it has done its thing. I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to select both my original font as well as the internal offset, and I'm going to go ahead, we're going to go to object, and we're going to go ahead and create a compound path. Voila, compact path has been created. Continue following me here. Okay, so this so far has created this right here. We're going to go ahead and we're going to cut this in half. I personally like to turn on my grid so I can kind of see where if my cut is going to be even. So I'm going to hit the letter G on my keyboard to bring up my grid, and I'm going to sit my letters on top of a line so I can kind of gauge if it's centered when it's time for me to cut. There's also another feature you can do, and I'm going to turn off my grid for it so you can see it. There's a blue line in the business edition. You can drag it down when you go over your ruler. You can drag it down and you can center out your design that way. From there, I'm going to use this line as a gauge to take my knife and cut straight across. In the business edition and in basic and deluxe should also have this as well. You should have the solid or outline. I want to make sure when I get ready to cut, I'm on outline. I'm going to go ahead and slice using my guide to, you see the red part, I'm going to make sure it's on the blue line completely, and I'm going to go ahead and cut. You're not going to see the cut right now because the blue line is kind of in the way, so I'm going to go back to my arrow and I'm going to drag my blue line out of the way. You still don't see it. You're going to see it right now though when I go and I try to select my top part of my lettering that I just sliced. So I grab the top part and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to group that. And for those who are a little bit more advanced, you can go ahead and grab the bottom part and you can right click and you can hit group at that time as well. So if you did it correctly, both of your pieces are starting to look like these two designs right here. I am now going to start the process of creating what we've done over here. I'm going to bring back my reserved emerald that I had put off to the side for this, and the top part I'm going to do a Control C for copy and a Control V for paste, and I'm going to put that one on top. Just kind of make sure everything looks good. Now for down here, I'm not going to do the same exact thing with the copy and paste. I'm going to bring back my old emerald back on the screen, but first I want to go ahead and I want to create the word vinyl. So I'm going to go back and I'm going to type the word vinyl in lowercase for this, and I am going to change the font to Anatomia Free. And Anatomia Free happens to be found on dafont.com. I believe they have commercial licenses as well, in addition to the personal. This one, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to make sure that I weld, being that the letters overlap one another, be sure to weld. I'm going to weld my letters together and then group them. I'm not going to do anything too fancy with this one, but I want to kind of get an idea of where I would want the word vinyl to cut out of the word emerald. So I'm going to scale and play around with it a little bit. I think I kind of want it right here. I kind of want it a little bit bigger. All right, so once I kind of figure out where I want the word vinyl to be, I'm going to go ahead, while it's still highlighted, I'm going to do an offset for this one. And I'm going to use the default offset, the default system offset feature. So I'm just going to keep it at 0.125, and I'm going to hit apply. And so now an offset was created. I'm going to keep it all together and keep it grouped. I'm going to remove my original vinyl that I created and welded together. I'm going to put that to the side because I'm going to show you a quick little trick. So with that being said, I am going to highlight both my emerald and my vinyl. I'm going to go and I am going to modify it. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut the offset, the offset of vinyl into the word emerald. And all I'm going to do is highlight both of them and I'm going to subtract. That automatically cuts it right into the word emerald. I am now at this time, I'm going to group it all. Well, sorry, I'm not going to group it yet. I'm going to go ahead while it's still highlighted. Sorry, I gotta re-highlight it again because it grabbed everything else on the screen and I don't want to highlight everything here. And I am going to group it together real quick. It's not gonna be enough. And I'm gonna do an internal offset again. The reason being is I want it to go around the curvatures of the offset that was created inside of the emerald when we just made that cut. I want it to look uniform as well with the other stuff that we created earlier. So I'm just going to change this, and I hope I'm not losing you. I'm going to change this to 0.050 and I am going to hit apply. This is going to make sure that it matches the fonts that we previously created earlier. Now with that being said, I'm going to highlight both the offset created and our original one. I know it sounds crazy, but follow me here, trust me. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to make a compound path. So now you see what was done. Let's color it in so you can kind of see what happened. Let's color it in with the green. It created an offset. Look at that. The offset that we did, and we used the compound path, and we, oh my gosh, it's really cool. The knockout is pretty cool. So we're not done here. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to bring my blue line right back down one more time, and I'm kind of going to gauge where I created a cut earlier, and I'm going to cut again right where I did for my other ones. And I'm going to go back to my slicer and I'm going to slice this bad boy up. And it's done. Of course you don't see it because it's in the way. I'm going to move this back out the way. I'm going to grab everything that's on above that cut line and I'm just going to delete it. I don't need it. Delete it because I don't need it. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to group these together and I'm going to put it in place with everything else. Now, with that said, I'm now going to go ahead and I'm going to kind of measure out to make sure. I'm going to go to my transformation and I'm going to make sure everything is centered, and I also want to make sure that it's even spacing throughout. that doesn't seem like it's even spacing. Let's make sure that everything is everything. So let's just go over and make sure that I captured everything. And I'm gonna manually put these two together. I don't want it too close. And I'm going to manually put these together. Nothing too close. And voila. I'm gonna go ahead and I don't like the way that looks. I'm just gonna ungroup this. I want to center it out again. One more time. Let's center it out one more time. Go ahead and we're going to center this out. And voila. I love it. I love it. I love it. Now we can go ahead and we can bring our vinyl back in. It will fit perfectly in place where we have it cut out, where we have it knocked out. And I'm going to color this one. Let's use gray. I'm going to go ahead and I am going to take off my outlines so you can kind of see the image of what we created. And pretty much we're done. So now I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to pause this so we can go ahead and we're going to start cutting.